when you came in, it should feel like a family to you. You should feel that comfort level when you come in. Welcome to CrossFit East10 Over the Bar podcast. The goal of this podcast is to answer common questions and encourage conversation between coaches, members, and the community.
Josh Brock here with head coach of CrossFit East10, Rob Stacy. Today we're going to talk about the mission here at East10. When you started East10, what was your goal then, and has it changed up to today? And if so, how has it changed?
A little bit about how East10 got started. East10 actually started out of luck. And when I say by luck, I mean there was a couple of individuals that broke off from the main gym, Lifestyles, to start their own CrossFit gym. And I was supposed to go with these guys, and I was supposed to go and help build this next CrossFit gym, the newest CrossFit gym in the area. And then there was another opportunity to go to another gym and work for them. What was crazy about it is it was a Sunday. I went over and helped these individuals with their gyms, and I got a phone call. I mean, I was on my way to my house or my apartment at the time where Brittany lived, and I get a phone call, and it's the manager of the gym, Tammy. She says, "Hey, Donnie wants to meet with you." Donnie is the owner of Lifestyles. Donnie wants to meet with you and discuss what CrossFit is and why. Why would it benefit our gym, and what's your vision for it? And I was just like dumbstruck. I was like, "What?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" Because I'd plain out told Tammy, I was like, "Hey, in about a month, I'm not going to be working here anymore. In about a month, I'm not going to be here anymore." And she was actually completely cool with it, because she knew it was my passion to actually coach people in whatever it is. Maybe it's CrossFit, baseball. She just knew that that's what I was meant to do. She knew that I was very unhappy with what I was doing, which was sales at the gym. Not that I didn't like it. It's not what I was made to do. So that being said, I come in on Monday, and I remember sitting down with Donnie, and he looks at me just dead serious and goes, "So tell me about CrossFit. What is it?" And I said, "Well, I can tell you this. It's not about taking your shirt off, flexing on people that are, for no reason, throwing the music up as loud as you can, and just throwing weights around." I said, "You have a perception of CrossFit that is wrong in general. CrossFit is meant to get someone like my mother into the gym, have a group around her that holds them accountable and encourages them to get as fit as they want to be." So that was kind of like the main mission of CrossFit East10 when we first started, was to get people that have never attempted to do something this intense or attempting something out of their comfort zone. And that's what we had a lot with our members at Lifestyles, which was crazy. Like when we opened the doors, it was about a month or two before we could average upwards of 10 to 15 people a day, not class, day.
A day.
So what I mean by that was me grinding every day just to get people. And I would go out here and talk to people and tell them the positive benefits of what CrossFit was, the positive aspects of functional fitness. And for a long time there, I was looked down upon by the other trainers in the room, because they had not understood that I'd actually trained sports teams in my life. They're like, "Who's this guy who's coming from the front desk and sales trying to tell us how to do stuff training wise?" And it wasn't that I was trying to tell anybody. I was just like, "Hey, I've already been here and done this.
Yeah.
This isn't new to me." Whether you might think it's new to me because you're watching me do it for the first time, but this isn't new to me at all. I've trained 30 to 40 guys at a single time at 6 a.m. in the morning, and had them all doing the same thing and understanding why they were doing it. So getting a group of 5 to 7 moms together, I think I'm gonna be able to handle this.
Be all right.
All right. So, so that first mission statement was really about fitness and getting people to realize that they can get fit, but they have to go out of their comfort zone sometimes to do that. Like, you can't be just happy riding the elliptical every day for 30 minutes. Not that that's bad. It's just, you're gonna have to understand that, like, if you want real change, hard work has to happen, and hard work differs for everybody. Hard work for my mom is different than hard work for somebody that's going to regionals, right? So it might be different, but at the same time, just like they taught at the L1, it differs in effort, but it doesn't differ in what they can do. So everybody needs to be picking up something from the ground and learning how to do that. Everybody needs to learn that hinge pattern. Everybody needs to learn how to squat. All right, it's a healthy thing. So our whole mission to start out with, or mine was was to make sure that the members at our gym got to have that benefit. So that's the kind of what I wanted to build with E10. And one of the monikers that we had before anybody even thought about this was family. I mean, I would post that on the boards. I'd post that on our social media. I'd post it on the back of T-shirts. And for people to understand that when you came in, it should feel like a family to you. You should feel that comfort level when you come in. You should feel that kind of push when a coach is on you, and you should want to do better because you want to make them feel proud of you. And that's how a family's relationship works. There's ups and there's downs. And that's kind of how our gym went. There's been people that have been here that have left, and there's people that have stayed here since day one. There's people that are moved on, outside this area that still, I would call them day one people. Robbie Hines, who lives in Texas, he's a lifer. Yeah. Robbie Hines came back here when I first got the gym package and the equipment was delivered, and we did the first open workout that year on carpet. I pulled out the boxes, pulled out the weights, put up the pull-up rack, did all that stuff right there that day just to do that open workout. And that's the kind of relationship I'm talking about, and that's how we're wanting to go towards that with our mission. As far as it's changed in kind. It's not changed in the idea, but when I mean changed in kind, it's changed. The perspective of that has changed. Building the family relationship with the people that want to be the family and relationship. Just that way. When everybody's on the same page, everything works so much better. That's me and you've talked about this, teams. Being on the same page for a team is huge. And if you're on the same page at your gym, and what I mean by this, everybody loves and likes each other, you're a family, you care about each other, that's our moniker, everybody gets results. If you're not that way, then 80% are going to get results, 20% aren't, or 80% are going to get results, 10% aren't, and the other 10% are going to be pissed off about everything. Yeah. Right? So whether they're getting results or they're not getting results. But that's kind of our mission is family.
To build on that family, and what can members do to help improve the gym? Anything from the environment to helping E10 expand. What can we do as members to help the coaches out and help build E10 bigger?
What I need help with as far as member-wise is caring about people as much as I do when it's their first day, right? I see people come in on the first day, and back when we had people like Allie and Richard Knott, they were our biggest advocates. I didn't sell anybody. I'd say, come to a 6:15 class. That's what I'd tell somebody on their first day. They'd be like, why? And I'd just come to a 6:15 class. They'd take the 6:15 class. I'd teach. I'd introduce them. Afterwards say, congratulations, it's your first day and your first workout. But Allie and Richard would pull them to the side, explain to them the benefits of CrossFit, how it's helped them, how it's changed their life, and how it'd be awesome to have them around. It was like a 95% sales rate, which people don't, I hear this from other people in podcasts, your biggest advocates are your members. It's kind of shifted though through the years, and it just depends on the people that you have in your gym too. To more of a, as soon as the WOD's done, let me grab my phone and see what's going on Instagram and Facebook. Let me go over here, or I ain't got time to stretch. Let me leave. I ain't got time to do the cool down. I got to get out of here. If fitness is your priority, you're going to plan that time to understand that it's not just an hour class. It's probably an hour and 15, an hour and 30 that you're going to have to spend at the gym.
I think still to this day, it's different members, but around that 6:30 when Matt, Barry, and Laura are here, those guys stick around for 30 minutes to an hour every day. And yep. they build that camaraderie, and it's a family thing for them. Those guys.
Yeah, and I'm not saying to make it a cult and be dedicated to the gym or anything. I'm saying it's caring about other people.
Build relationships with people that you work out with.
Exactly. It's caring about the people, and when you start caring about others, you're blessed with. God will bless you with what you need. So what members need to do to help though is to build that relationship like I try to every single time. On top of that, if you want something better, you've got to voice that, right? You want ski ergs? Well, by God, you got to go tell somebody you want ski ergs. You can't just come tell me about it. I manage the gym, and I do the programming, and I'm blessed to do the coach here. But as far as making the decision on Like I'll tell them what they need to buy. But as far as member-wise, you're the member. I'm the manager, owner / coach. You need to voice to a higher power that that's what you want. And once you do it, it's done. Complaining about something isn't going to get any kind of change. And that's just like think of it like your fitness. If you're constantly complaining because you don't have a kipping pull-up, but you don't ever practice it or try it, there's probably a reason that you aren't getting a kipping pull-up. Yeah. But yeah, that's how you could help. And it's not like nobody isn't helping. It's just that's going to benefit, and it's going to make our gym grow. And what I mean by that, it's going to add value in your life because you're actually going to see that you're actually benefiting someone else. When I see that I've actually helped somebody, it uplifts me, and I find more value in my day.
And just to wrap this one up, what are just a couple of things that you see in the future, near or far, for E10? Just a couple of things that you would like to see. If it is, maybe get ski ergs, or if it is, try to increase 50 plus members by a certain time frame, increase our ranking in the Open next year. What are some things that you see in the future for East 10?
Well, the biggest thing that I see for us is I want to be not just, an area component. I've always talked about this. I want to be regionally known, and that's not me as a programmer or as a coach. That's CrossFit East 10. And regionally known doesn't mean competitively. That means when people come to this region, they go, you know what, that's a really, really good gym. It's ran well. They have great members. The coaching's phenomenal. The programming's phenomenal. Everybody there has a buy-in system. You could have the shiniest equipment in the world and not have any of that. You could have the crappiest equipment in the world, which we don't, and you could have all of that. That being said, the future for us is in the members' hands. And I'll always say that the future's in the members' hands. It's what they wanted out of it. They know what I want out of it. They know what I expect. I hope in 20 years that we're voted as a top 10 gym in the world, because we're changing lives that impactful. Not top 10 in the world, like as far as we've got the fittest people in the world, like we're placing the top 100, like top 10 in the region. That's great. That's byproducts of having a great gym and a great community and a great family.
You heard for yourself some of the things, the mission, some of the goals that we have, things we want to see in the future. But again, it's in our hands as members. We have to speak up. We have to talk to the people. That's over our head coach's hands, our owner's hands. So, you want ski ergs? Tell somebody. You want to expand? Tell somebody. You want more assault bikes? Tell somebody.
All right, comes this time our episode where we have a featured coach. Today's coach is Nate Morrow. How you doing, Nate?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing good, man. So how long have you done CrossFit?
Started doing CrossFit here at East 10, August of 2014, so it'll be 3.5 years now. This was also my very first gym. I'm not coming from a previous gym, although I do have athletic background that goes back for 2 decades plus.
So how long have you helped us coach here?
I got my level 1 cert 2 years ago, then I've been coaching here for 1.5 years.
What do you enjoy most about coaching?
I love the aspect of teaching, taking something that I understand in my own head and being able to communicate that in words and passing that knowledge, what I know, my experiences, on to another member, seeing them succeed, seeing them make improvements. It could be one-on-one, it could be for the class, but I found that teaching is something that actually comes natural. Explaining something, if I understand it, then I can communicate that to somebody, and that just.
I personally feel like that's one of your strengths as a coach here too, is being able to take somebody one-on-one and break it down to the very beginner level. And a lot of people take that for granted. A lot of people think that they're beyond the basics.
One of the other aspects that kind of makes teaching come natural, I've always had a mechanical mind. I would take things apart as a kid. I always wanted to understand how things work, how things move, and then as athleticism became more important, I applied that to the movement of the human body. So that's why I can see that in a mechanical aspect, physics aspect, and then even the mathematical aspect.
Yeah, and that's something you talk about all the time, is about experimentation with different aspects. People see, for example, you use an occlusion cuffs on your arms, and what they don't understand, that's a very advanced level of exercise currently, in the fitness world, and it's something I see quite often, especially with the major power lifters. They're starting to get involved with that. A lot of your background is from West Side's methodology. I know that you talk a lot about Louis and all those guys and what they do with their powerlifting. But let's talk a little bit now, and we'll get back to that. Let's talk a little bit about your background, because for a lot of people, they don't know that you do have an athletic background, that you've wrestled for quite a long time. Your dad was involved in strength and conditioning for a very long time, and still is.
As long back as I can remember.
Yeah, probably one of the nicest guys I've ever met. But tell them a little bit about your fitness background, what your, like, the pedigree that from your dad that you came from, and then also a little bit about your military experience. Tell them, a little bit about what's happened to you in the past. Okay. So open up a little bit about that.
So for starters, I've been doing functional fitness, functional workouts since I was about 5 or 6. My dad is a former strength and conditioning coach at the collegiate level, still involved with athletics to this day. So I started doing push-ups, sit-ups, a lot of just calisthenics. Then when I was 13 years old, I started lifting. We had some home weights. I was resistant to it then. I didn't like it at first, but he built that foundation of discipline and work ethic in me. Then the biggest thing I'll say in high school, the one activity, the one sport that really laid the foundations of who I am, not just as an athlete, but who I am as a person, my character, my work ethic, my discipline, was the sport of wrestling. It is hands down probably one of the toughest things that an athlete can do. It's one of the toughest sports. It's one of the most worthwhile sports. It's arguably, by a lot of people, one of the best sports in the world. It's definitely, it's worth every minute. I wasn't the greatest at it, but it really made me into the person I am today. Everything that I do, the way that I structure my workouts, revolves around that. I was never one to play any sport that involved throwing a ball. I wanted to learn how to fight and how to wrestle, combat sports with it, and specifically wrestling. Then we'll fast forward a few years. After high school, I enlisted in the Marine Corps. Still, there are military workouts that weren't nearly as hard as being in the wrestling room.
Yeah.
So a lot of wrestlers will say that is the hands down toughest sport. But definitely had its challenges there. Military style workouts. I've been doing CrossFit before CrossFit was a thing. Back then you'd call it cross training or combat conditioning movements and all that. So during the military, we went on a deployment in 2004. I got injured really bad, almost lost my life. Thankfully I didn't. I came back. I wasn't sure how that would affect me physically a lot, but thankfully 14 years later, I'm doing well. So after military, a few years ago, I became a firefighter. And if those that you don't know, first responder jobs, fire, EMS, police, anything like that, they definitely require you to be very physically fit. The jobs, they're very demanding, they're unpredictable, but if you look at what CrossFit really drives home is being prepared for the unknown and unknowable. That's what we preach. That's why we train. That's why we do what we do. Now everybody has different goals and different outlooks, different ways of training. Whether you want to compete at a higher level, maybe compete locally, or just to come in and be fit.
Yeah, and for a lot of the people that they hear you say the stuff that you're saying, and it resonates with me because most of the stuff that I hear when you teach, and that's why I find so much value in having you as a coach, is it's coming straight from the book. And if it's coming straight from the book, that means it's coming from a higher source or a higher experience level. And for a lot of people, they'll take that for granted because what you just said, preparing for the unknown and unknowable, that's a CrossFit definition right there. But let's go on now And also thank you for your service. I mean, you hear me say it all the time, but I mean, I'd like
Absolutely.
to tell everybody else, thank you for your service, because, if it wasn't for that fateful day and God having his hand on you, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. So that's how valuable I see our relationship as far as that goes. What are 2 tips you give to members, and what's something you do outside the gym?
Okay. First, for any members, anybody listening, even if you're not part of our gym, when you come and do the workouts, listen to why the coaches are telling you to do what we do, the way we do the workouts, and in that, don't be afraid to scale the workouts down. I know we've mentioned that in our own podcast. I've listened to this and numerous other talks from people. It's better. You're working on yourself. I mean, you can compete with other people, but your goal in coming into CrossFit should be to compete against yourself. So don't be afraid to scale down workouts and to separate the hard skill, the movements, from the Metcon. Secondly, don't expect your progress to happen overnight. And we have a lot of new members come in our gym, which is great. I love the fact that we're growing. I love teaching new people who have never done any of the lists before, a little bit at a time. Okay, take this point, apply this, and then this. A little bit at a time, and then over the course of several weeks, you'll see improvements. So that's my biggest tips I would give to somebody.
Yeah, big thing on patience. And so what's something you do outside the gym?
Outside the gym, that
Not outside
me.
workouts, because you like outside workouts too.
I definitely love when it's nice outside. And I am an outdoor person. I've worked at a summer youth camp for years. Love doing ropes course type of activities like rock climbing, being on the water, and as well. We have rivers, lakes, kayaks, all that type of stuff. I love day hikes, being out in the wilderness, out in nature hikes. That's what using your fitness is in the real world. So I'm an outdoor person. I'm also a musician.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
But I do.
I joke with you all the time about playing the big bass. So
I've played bass for many years, and it's music has been a big influence in my life.
Yeah, and for many people, they don't know, they don't understand this, but so Nate is a musician, and you play different forms of music as well, but your preferred form of working out is heavier death metal, which when I first found that out about you, about made me fall on my chair laughing, because I did not expect to walk in and hearing just the death metal playing. I expected something more towards your personality, but that's just a little tip on Nate. So I get cracked up anytime I see it now.
Since I've started working out here at CrossFit, I've learned to tolerate hip hop, and there's a few artists I actually like.
There we go.
But I grew up hating rap.
Yeah.
Hating everything but hard rock and metal.
Yeah. Awesome, man. I'm glad to have you on the podcast. Glad to have you part of our gym, and I'm sure there's a lot of members that are looking forward to hearing this insight on this podcast and a little bit about who you are. So hope to have you on in the future and talk a little bit more in depth about some of your strength and conditioning principles that you have embedded in you.